Imagine discovering that a simple creeping aquatic weed plucked right out of the mud could actually hold the key to treating cognitive decline. Now, you might assume that true modern cognitive enhancement requires synthetic chemicals engineered in some sterile lab, right? Well, today, we're unpacking the rigorous clinical evidence behind a botanical that is so deeply rooted in ancient medicine, modern scientists are literally hacking its biology to harness its power. Welcome to our deep dive explainer into the fascinating and honestly sometimes controversial science of Bacopa Monnieri. Okay, let's jump right in.
For years, people have debated whether natural supplements can genuinely rival pharmaceutical interventions when it comes to brain health. Today, we're cutting through the noise and looking strictly at the hard science. We want to see if Bacopa Monnieri can truly deliver on its ancient promises. We're going to explore how scientists are currently investigating this exact plant for its potential to do everything from fighting Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's to managing ADHD symptoms. And trust me, what they are finding could genuinely change how we view cognitive longevity.
To do this, we'll follow a simple roadmap. We've got 5 clear parts today: meet the memory herb, the chemistry of cognition, high-tech botanical cultivation, brain benefits in action, and finally, safety and summary.
Section 1. Meet the memory herb, from Ayurveda to modern labs.
Let's start with the macro view. What exactly is this plant and where does it come from? You likely know it by its more common names, Brahmi, or maybe Water Hyssop. Scientifically, it's called Bacopa Monnieri, and it belongs to the Plantagenesae family. Now, if you wanted to find this in the wild, you'd need to travel to the wet, aquatic environments of the Indian subcontinent. Long before it was standardized into those little capsules you see on pharmacy shelves today, this creeping, succulent herb was an absolute cornerstone of Ayurvedic medicine. Traditional healers didn't just use it for memory enhancement. They relied on it for centuries as a holistic remedy for treating conditions like anxiety, insomnia, and even epilepsy.
Section 2. The chemistry of cognition, zooming in.
To understand exactly how this herb interacts with the human brain, we have to shift away from history, look under the microscope, and get into the hard biochemistry. Researchers have isolated dozens of chemical compounds from this plant, but the absolute most important class of chemicals you need to know about are the bacosides. Chemically speaking, they are a complex mixture of damarine-type triterpenoid saponins. I know, that is quite the mouthful. But basically, think of these bacosides as master mechanics for your cellular health. They are the primary bioactive engines driving the plant's cognitive enhancing and neuroprotective effects. So what are these master mechanics actually doing inside your body? Well, bacosides operate through a really fascinating dual mechanism. On one hand, they act like biological rust removers. They neutralize oxidative stress and clear out damaging reactive oxygen species in your cells. On the other hand, they actively fine-tune your brain's communication network by modulating key neurotransmitters. We're talking about regulating acetylcholine for your memory, dopamine for focus, and serotonin for mood. It's a two-pronged approach to brain health.
And the biological potential here is just vast. Preclinical studies show Bacopa interacting with the very mechanisms that drive severe neurological diseases. For instance, recent research shows it actually reduces the aggregation of tau proteins by inhibiting an enzyme called MARC4 kinase. Why does this matter? Because halting tau protein buildup is a major target for slowing down cognitive decline and Alzheimer's disease. It also decreases amyloid beta plaques and neuroinflammation. It's even been shown to modulate AMPA receptors in animal models of autism and schizophrenia. And get this, in studies using microscopic worms known as C. elegans, Bacopa extracts actually enhanced their overall lifespan and prevented cellular stress.
But, you know, the science of Bacopa isn't without its drama. There is a fascinating scientific mystery here. For years, a compound called bacosine was heavily marketed by some brands as the secret to the plant's success. However, rigorous modern testing recently revealed a massive plot twist. It turns out the bacosine found in commercial powders is actually structurally identical to a completely different, already known compound called betulinic acid. It's a really great reminder of why continuous, rigorous scientific validation of natural products is absolutely essential.
Section 3. High-tech botanical cultivation, hacking the plant.
Let's look at how modern agriculture is stepping in to help. Because as it turns out, this plant's immense popularity has become a total double-edged sword. Bacopa Monnieri is currently facing a massive conservation crisis. Why? Well, it's a combination of overharvesting from the wild, naturally low seed viability, and just immense global commercial demand. Wild populations are severely depleted right now. To fix this, scientists have had to pull Bacopa out of the mud entirely and bring it into hypermodern, sterile bioreactors just to ensure we have a sustainable, renewable supply.
But here is where things get truly futuristic. Scientists aren't just growing the plant, they're actively hacking its biology. They figured out how to supercharge the plant's bacoside production in the lab through a really clever process of controlled stress. By introducing tiny metal nanoparticles, like titanium dioxide or zinc oxide, and then applying targeted salt solutions directly to the tissue cultures, they essentially trigger the plant's natural defense mechanisms.
And the results of that induced stress are incredible. By suffocating the plant with 100 millimolar of potassium chloride, researchers recorded up to a 1.8-fold increase in the highly coveted bacoside A content. That's almost double the yield. They are literally stressing the plant out so it produces more medicine. This kind of biotechnology could completely revolutionize how we source botanical compounds sustainably moving forward.
Section 4. Brain Benefits in Action, the Human Evidence.
Okay, let's zoom back out to the macro level. How do all these bacosides and high-tech cellular mechanisms actually translate to real-world humans? Well, the clinical data spans across multiple demographics. In healthy adults, we see consistent evidence of enhanced verbal learning, improved delayed word recall, and notably, reduced stress reactivity and fatigue, especially when multitasking. In elderly patients and those with Alzheimer's, the data points to modest cognitive improvements, and it's being heavily researched right now as part of combination therapies. And fascinatingly, in children and adolescents, clinical trials have documented improved language behavior, better attention, and decreased hyperactivity, really validating its potential for developmental disorders.
Section 5. Safety, Quality Control, and Summary.
Now, before you rush out to buy some Bacopa, we absolutely need to address a serious issue. The modern challenges of product purity are pretty alarming. A shocking recent DNA analysis revealed that a massive 60% of commercial Brahmi herbal products on the market were completely mislabeled. Because of that conservation crisis we just talked about, bad actors are adulterating products, they're substituting true Bacopa with cheaper, completely different plants like Centella asiatica. So what's the takeaway here? If you are buying this, you have to ensure your source is rigorously third-party tested.
But when you do have authentic, high-quality Bacopa Monnieri, what does the safety profile look like? Generally, it has a very high therapeutic index and is well tolerated by most people. The most common side effects are purely gastrointestinal, things like mild nausea or abdominal cramps. However, you must be cautious of heavy metal accumulation like cadmium and lead, which the plant readily absorbs like a sponge from polluted wild soils. Also, it's known to interact with cytochrome P450 enzymes in your liver. That means it can alter how your body metabolizes certain prescription medications. So as always, talk to your doctor first.
Ultimately, the modern scientific literature firmly echoes the ancient wisdom. Bacopa is a profound botanical tool that safely bridges the gap between cognitive enhancement and stress reduction. It doesn't just stimulate the brain like a cup of coffee. It protects it, adapts it to stress, and offers a highly complex, multi-targeted approach to long-term neurological health. Which leaves us with a truly fascinating thought to close on today. If an unassuming, creeping aquatic weed from the mud can offer us a literal blueprint for fighting cognitive decline and reducing stress, what other incredible secrets are just waiting to be decoded in the natural world? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.